you go down to the last chance qualifiers, there is still one more slot for the it'd be teams there, no more than 5 of them. You still got Barrel there as well, guys, and then one of either Exist or Scars. So and then all that for just one slot, and a lot of games have to be played and a lot has to go your way. This is your best chance to go to the major. If you are Crest, you've got to come back, you've got to win here on Bank and send it to Chalet. For North Epson though, guys, they are 7 rounds away from going to the major. What a story it would be for this team. At the back end of 2022, they started to begin their rise as a team that can compete in the Japanese region. They're not too far away from being able to compete globally.
Certainly a very tantalizing prospect, and just risking over the ban phase because it is quite typical here for Bank Nook, so a bit of that luck potential dealt with. Dockerby, great for roam clearing a large map like Bank, then Solace with the pre-placed nature of Bank, again very powerful, so that will aid the attack quite significantly. And then the Valkyrie to close things out. Again, expansive map, so information would be critical. It does leave the likes of the Azami in for the top floor, but unlikely that we will see her played on sites like Basement, which will be played now first. And look, there has been a technical call in the chat, but in terms of what we're seeing initially from this setup and from the composition of the defense, North Epson probably going to look to get quite aggressive, and Sharif spearheading that with the Oryx is going to be a dangerous player if he switches on in this second map. Very, very quiet, in fact quite costly for North Epson on Villa.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and obviously all attention is going to be on Nina after that performance on Villa, and obviously therefore, yeah, as you said, Shureep as well, right, but for the opposite reason. So that's kind of where the eyes will be probably for North Epson. Can Nina continue to have that really strong performance and bring that here over to Bank, and vice versa? Can Shureep sort of rectify things a little bit? And so will be a rehost, it seems. I don't know what Simasu means, guys, but your Japanese might be better than mine. I do know what RH obviously does stand for, though, and that means rehost. So as it... Alrighty, so let's do this for real, guys. Heading into Bank for map number 2 for this best of 3 semi-final, and we'll do it the right way this time, hopefully. North Epson on the defense, Crest on the attack. Let's go, take 2.
Yep, so it's the same site, same ops as outlined in the rulebook. Basement. Now we did see, at least prior to the rehost, Reaper setting up for an extension with hatches open to the open area. I presume that that strategy will stick. And with the likes of the Nook off the board, you would anticipate that this roam heavy strat will be quite effective. Now, I guess the real wild card for North Epson to contend with on this round will be that Montaigne from Eclair, and where Crest elects to employ that shield. Could send it through dirt to server and try and get some quick control. You can also get a little bit cheeky with the back push and create space that way. So, I mean, there's a couple of different options available here for the attack, and the onus, it is on Crest on their map pick to rebound.
And for those that potentially missed the first map, it's been a little bit of time since we had that game on Villa. North Epson won 7-1 with Crest winning the opening round. North Epson then proceeded to win 7 rounds in a row. Dirt push here for Crest with the Montaigne. Yeah, for Locker's CCTV thrown through, and they'll get some information in towards server. Shureep up above, and obviously had a bit of a struggle on Villa. Statistically, their best player on the team, North Epson, and he was arguably their worst on Villa, but Nina stood strong. Dropped 16 in basically half the map. Obviously, the first 3 were not counted, as though we did have a rehost then. And it's straight through server now with the clear on the Montaigne. They'll give it probably a quick check over towards blue, maybe bot square. It's all clear, it's all good. Whiskey to open this one up. And that will obviously have that long sight line all the way in through Vault and towards Lockers as well. Gonna open up both walls, and so far no real response from North Epson. Their lineup though, not quite strong enough to probably deal with any kind of denial. They don't have the smoke, they don't have a cap can, they've only got favor on the Echo with those yokai bursts. That's it, and obviously the Vulcan canisters from Sayo-chan. So not really a whole lot of denial in this round.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any world in which this could work, it's probably this one. Montaigne can cover plant, Whiskey could be able to stick. Send flashes deep through red, smokes as well if needed. They probably don't even need that utility favor.
Oh, got it.
Well, his drone's down, and this is going to be a free play.
Well, no denial. Drone gets taken down, and there is absolutely no response from North Epson here. I don't know what kind of setup this is. Why you would bring the dock The Legion's not going to give you much either. You need to have the smoke, and that just denies those kind of push-ins. Like, this round's over. You've given them a freebie on a very good site on Bank. Now you lose favor. And this is the problem as well. Now you start kind of having to scramble a little bit, make some rush attacks and rush movements, try and clear out positions like electrical. And even if you do happen to get on, now this is going to have to be a very good diffuser, but they're not holding close to it, of course. Who's actually watching this though? Because this is potentially winnable. There's absolutely no way. Nina Shuri, Nina again. What are we watching from Northeption's Nina? You get the plant down on a site that is virtually impossible to retake, and they've retaken it. Duo from Nina at the end. Shuri finally shows up. The biggest thing though is Crest. So far back into dirt, they basically gave them server. No one's holding above. There's no hatch play, no vert play. You get the plant down. That's great. And don't get me wrong, that's 90% of winning that round. But the last 10%'s watching vert, watching it, making sure Northampton can't get back on it. And they just waltz onto the diffuser.
I mean, we really saw the big weaknesses there of both the attack and defense strategy. So if you're going to go direct server, you do sometimes run the risk in a 5v5 post of being overwhelmed. Normally though, that's from the hatch retake, whereas this time it was just a straight horizontal retake from the defense. Now, on the side of Northeption on the defense, we saw the big weaknesses of not having the smoke, not having a Tachenka, for instance. They did have the Goyo, but that had a very limited effect on being able to deny the plant, but then we still had players like Nina stepping up, finding big kills. There was also some really awkward engagements, like Hot Square through electrical, which also compromised Crest's ability then to retake down blue and have that second angle. It just forced the attackers to turn defense in the post, just backed into the corner, into dirt, and Northeption able to clean up. So, an explosive round to kick things off, and it's only going to, I think, make Crest even more frustrated. That is now 8 rounds in a row for Northeption.
Yeah, keep that track going and see how long this one can continue. The longer it does, the worse for Crest. This is their map pick. We haven't seen arguably a whole lot of Bank so far in the Japan League. Only played twice. Slightly favoring the defenders in those 2 games. Small sample size. We probably wouldn't take too much into account there, especially on a map like Bank, which historically is something that attackers have done well on. Outside of probably Locus's DTV sites like CEO Executive, for example, attackers can do a decent job of overwhelming and getting control. Very aggressive position here from Nina. Inside of stock, double Kiva barrier, but he's got that shield in the hallway, so that gives him the ability to push out of it. I think you were playing this position the other day, guys, without the shield in the hallway, and it gets really tricky. But you've got that shield, you've got the Kiva barriers. This is a really solid defense at the moment from Nina. On lock, really hard to push here if you're Crest.
Yeah, the nade goes out. Doesn't land, but Nina again. And he's probably going to get a second. Swings and lands some shots, but it's not quite enough for the kill. Now exposed as ex-Kairos, but he can just plug that hole right back up. And this is such a difficult position to clear, as shown by Crest's initial attempt. And you put your star fragger, your player, in really good form today in that spot. You expect a lot.
Oh no, what the hell have I just seen?
Oh no, well he does eventually down Nina, so he'll get this kill, but the damage pretty much already done onto Crest.
Look at the perceived pressure though. Lua doesn't even want to push into stock. Despite getting the kill on the stock away player, he's expecting someone to come for the swing. So Shurip has actually now taken this position, bit of a backfill in. Nina eventually dies, finally shut down. 3 for 1, another really good start though here on Bank. But yeah, again, Lua was just very hesitant to just push in, get that kill on the stock player, knowing there's probably someone that might push on top main or long desk to cover that position. The player and Janitor as well. Shield finally gets dealt with 40 seconds. Whiskey's got the diffuser. No hard breach, so none of these reinforced walls going to get opened up, especially top square, for example. It's going to have to be some kind of push through Janitor that they're going to have to clear out. And then you got Shuri playing elevator at the back. He can actually watch all the way in through long desk. I don't see a world in which Crest win this round. I really don't.
I think the only way is if Acerola can get his foot on side, but he's still on that rappel and all the other entrances locked down. Whiskey needs to go big, but he won't expect this player on the floor. Well, actually, no, he does.
Wow.
But again, Acerola still isolated, stranded on that rappel. Whiskey can go for plant, but Acerola needs to cut down the 3 on this rotation.
Well, he's off the rappel now. Whiskey looking to get this one down successfully and will not favor from behind with a shotgun. Through Janitor. Northeption. They keep that round going in their favor after it looked like at the start Crest maybe would be able to get this kind of position over towards top square, clearing out positions like stock. They just couldn't. They really couldn't. They couldn't get through Nina. He kept it on lock for at least a good solid 90 seconds. 9 rounds in a row now for Northampton over the 2 maps that have been played out. And Crest are just bereft of ideas.
Well, it's 9 straight now for Northampton. We go to the tertiary site. It's very early on in this second map, but I am this close to saying with confidence, if Crest don't win this round, don't break the streak here on the tertiary site. Do we put a line for the name? If you don't get something rolling here on the tertiary site, it's then so tricky to see them in rounds 4, 5, 6, making up that deficit on the primary sites. We go back down basement. They tried that strat. They're not probably going to be able to pull that off again with the direct dirt. We then go back up above where they find it difficult to clear stock with Nina. So this, for me, is such an important round for Crest.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, and who's going to be the one to step up and turn it around? Because, you know, Choppy 0 and 2, Ace Roller wasn't really all that prevalent either on Villa. Can't just be entirely reliant on one player, though. It's got to be the whole team. Everyone has to just step up across the board. I say that, though, in a match where one player is basically decimating everyone in Nina. 3-1 to start Bank. Usually we have, you know, sort of MVPs discussion, guys. I don't even care how it ends at this point. If we go to Chalet and Crest win, I'd probably still give the MVP to Nina. As that one probably unlocked. Shirip lurking over towards Janitor. Droned out by Lure, though. Top square. And there will be another stock hallway position, but this time on the Frost. Repel here. Claire, that's going to be a very early Candela.
Well, we've seen this a lot. We've actually seen this a lot in a couple of regions. This really aggressive take with the Ying to try and get space. Now, it can be countered by the Warden, but none in play from the defense, at least in this position. Yuki is elsewhere. So that's not the worst of starts here. Sharip revived those, so a 4 versus 4 stabilizes a little bit. Nina, again, aggressive in stock to get that kill on to Lure. Should not have won that engagement. Just, he's in such good form and such good touch. It doesn't matter what position he's playing at the moment. You cannot rule him out from finding a kill.
A bomb has been located.
90 seconds left of the round. Northampton regain that lead. And there's only 2 Candelas remaining for Eclair as well for that entry late round. And it's staff open area as well, and you've got no hard breach. So you're not going to be able to open up that quad wall bot square. It's just not going to happen.
Well, they have secondary, but it is going to be limited. It'll be limited.
Actually, I don't even know if they reinforced it, to be honest, from what I just saw. I think it might not be. But regardless, though, they've only got 3 players left. And this is at that point where have you even cleared up top blue stairs for this flank from Shuri? Very common on, you know, open area staff to have a player that swings bot square. And yeah, they didn't actually even reinforce it. They didn't care to. Yeah. They instead keep the sight lines in towards bot square. But I don't mind that anyway. Shuri wins this round, though. If Crest Gaming just switch off for even a second and look to push through bot square, they're going to lose this round.
Yeah,
They've got to probably play the drop.
Yeah, they need to play drop and they need to disrupt that vert, those positions, watching deep over towards quad wall, because if they don't expose these positions underneath Eclair, they simply cannot win the round by pushing bot square.
That was out. Those will be the final 2 from Eclair. Prime's the second one. That's going to be Whiskey getting the opening kill into this late round exchange. Sharif still blue stairs. If he swings, I don't think he's going to find a whole lot, though. Needs to help out on site. Nina got 1. No surprise. Whiskey watches the hatch above. Obviously got that denial onto Eclair, who was going for the diffuse plant. Nina again. Well, no time. Firstly, Nina's got up to 6 and 1. Really good retake above. That's that's the critical key condition, though. If you drop down your Eclair and you've got those Candelas, that's fine. He's planting. Guess what? Nina rotates back up above. Now has hatch, denies, and then has hatch control. You can't win the round. Nina's not just getting kills, guys. He's not just stat padding. He's getting critical key kills in key areas, and it's not even the kill that mattered in the end. It's his position that he retook.
I actually love that setup from Northampton. They know that the positions they're holding inside open area to deny bot square can be compromised from up above, and that's why we saw them just fall back, play retake. And you need, as the attack, in my opinion, to have a player posted up above to deny that retake. It was unfortunate that the diffuser was in the hands of the player that had to drop, and it just compromised that push completely, because even if that plan had have gone down, I still would have backed Northampton. that retake. And I prefaced before that round, that was a huge one for Crest. We're now staring down the barrel of a 10-round win streak for Northeption. They've also then gone ahead and just confirmed the tertiary site. Where did Crest get back into this game? It's bank attack. You should be favoured on this side, on this half, and I think Crest is completely in the dirt right now.
Left before insertion. Bomb located by a
Yeah, and it's another round though where Northeption I think have proven that their strategies that they're employing is just better, and Crest don't have the answers right now. So, you know, typically on an open area staff, you would, you know, rear off bot square. You would probably force the attackers to, you know, get that square control, bit of stock, bit of janitor hallway. They probably wouldn't care as much for getting proper, like, positioning in there, just more so clearing it out, and then eventually open up that bot square, push through. And obviously, Northeption's like, yeah, you can have that, but we want to really keep control of stock. We want to make it really difficult. Eventually, Crest clear it out. Then they get the drop. What does Northeption do, though? Rotate back up, main stairs, get recontrolled. They knew exactly what Crest wanted to do, and then what Northeption needed to do after Crest got what they wanted. So that's just really good game sense. And understanding really the flow of the game as it's going to play out. Northeption's always just one step ahead. And Nina's obviously just been the linchpin and all of that, able to just be so reliant. Loses this battle though to Choppy. Choppy had the yellow ping. So clearly there's some intel there on to Nina's position. As good as you are, guys, if you're yellow pinged out, it's always so difficult.
I mean, yeah, if you lose that as Choppy, it's time to just pack up your mouse and keyboard and retire.
Oh, Sharif.
But yeah, now it's someone else stepping up. Sharif, quiet, map 1, now going 4-1 here on Bank. And that is what has been Northeption's strength. Sure, Nina doing a lot of heavy lifting, but there's always been the rest of the team to still show up when he dies, which is really important. It keeps that pressure up, and Crest failing to respond. 3v4. And what's the win condition now for Crest? They're still contesting control up above. They need to be careful. Sharif inside of elevator, but he'll just be able to drop off. That said, Acerella could cut it off. He is down below, but it's up to Choppy and it's up to Eclair to pressure elevator and try to get this back to a 3v3.
Well, the interesting thing as well, it's the exact same lineup last time for what the CCTV Northeption. Love the little drop there for both of them. They get rid of the Yoko
What
drone
are they doing?
and Yuki's. Wow, okay.
It's game over.
They were more, well, I mean, they're obviously going to be preoccupied with the Yoko drone that's bursting at them. Yeah, they're going to look at the ceiling and shoot that out. What does that then do? Yuki's can then swing off that. So again, it's Northeption that are one step ahead, guys. They're playing chess. Crest are playing checkers. That's the way this game's playing out. That's the way this series is playing out. 11 rounds in a row.
I'm this close to tying a bow on this series, and what a run it has been from Northeption. Third in their group, they start off in the quarterfinal against Cyclops, of all teams to verse first. Well, we'll just brush that off, an easy 2-0, lose 4 rounds and 2 maps. And it's looking like they're going to be even more dominant against the top player in the top team in the group in Crest. They may only end up losing a round or two. That's
one round,
literally,
yeah.
honestly, it might even be the one round. I would not be shocked if this ends up being a 7-0. They are playing on a whole different level in this game.
Well, even if Crest get a round or two here to close out this first half, I don't see a world in which Northeption are just going to like melt on the attack. So, I mean, they had a very good attack on Villa, and I think they'll be able to do that as well here on Bank. And yeah, I mean, I'm really worried now for Crest. I held hope. I tried to be a little bit devil's advocate in our pre-match discussion coming into Bank. It was Crest's map pick. When we think about how good this team has been, can be, you almost expect that they will be able to bounce back. Also, this was a game where, yes, a lot of momentum for Northeption, but a lot of that was sort of chopped up, you know, by rehosts and breaks and pauses. So you kind of maybe, I felt at least that there was an opportunity for Crest to reset a little bit through those moments, through those pauses in the action. Evidently not. And evidently the momentum for Northeption has just never even been dwindled at all. I mean, they haven't stopped. They've been on the accelerator the whole time. CEO Executive, this feels like a must-win round. When we think about sites on Bank that are very much winnable for the attacking teams, I think it's CEO Executive. This is the site you've got to win. You can have repel pressure, you can open up positions like Kanto, you can get top square, you can clear out janitor, stock. There's so many positions you can clear out and do, and they've just got to be able to do it. They've got to find success in key areas.
What is this maestro setup from
5 seconds left before
Sharif?
insertion.
Oh no, the double evil eye, so getting a bit of info lobby can deny Kanto wall as well. And I mean, look, at this point, Northeption could do whatever the hell they want, because it seems like not much is going to be able to dissuade them. Not much is going to be able to push them over at this point. But you're right, must-win territory for Crest. Sets them up as well for maybe being able to recover what has been a very, very tricky half. Now, last time up above, big issues over towards Stock. Nina will be playing it again, presumably behind Shield with barriers inside of Stock itself, just to alleviate some of that pressure that can be felt on that position and put that back on the players at Square Bulk. He'll have support as well from Janitor. But it looks like it's going to be a shift in mentality here from Crest, rotating through lobby. Evil Eyes have been spotted out, so that sneaky strategy from Sharif is probably not really going to be overly effective. They'll just need to deal with that util before Lua works on Kanto.
Well, we haven't really seen a whole lot of success from the Montang in this match. If you are going to bring it those here, executive up banana stairs, put pressure over towards the elevator's position. It can be strong. Claire wanting to deal, though, with this bulletproof camera first. A lot of information gained. And it's being a pest right now. It's being a real thorn in the side of Crest. And this is just one more shenanigan that they're going to have to deal with. Nina gets the opening kill. Little trip down main. He gets one. And that's the Ash gone. And again, it just feels like Northeption are in control. And Crest don't know what to do. They're on the back foot. You think you've got this plan. Okay, we're going to have the Montang up banana stairs. We're going to then do this and that. And it's like, oh, now that we're going to deal with the Maestro. And now we've lost the opening kill because Nina's pushed down main. Now we're getting smoked off. It's all the pressure. And this is what I say, when a team wants to dictate the pacing of the game and they're the ones in control, this whole series is evident of that. We're seeing it from Northeption. Doesn't matter if you're the defending team, you can still be firmly in control.
Yeah, this is dominance on display. Still 2 smoke bags available, so Favor will be able to stall out this position until about the 20-second mark remaining at least. So it doesn't look ideal. Choppy needs to try and find something on the vert nades, but yeah, that's not going to land either. So 3v5, impacts now, Leclerc forced back. Nina's probably going to be going for some kind of flank elsewhere. The drop down is punished though. So once this smoke subsides, maybe Crest can find some space, but it's on Choppy to really find these picks.
There's 2 impact nades still for Nina. I think there's one over towards main. Gotta be careful behind. Feather gets caught by Whiskey on the drop. Nina, though, coming in with a bit of a rotate in behind. Might push up main stairs. And Eclair has to get the pick up there as well. Onto Choppy. Brought back up. Whiskey gets that kill onto Nina. That's a big one. Hit by here for Eclair. It's not the most accurate. Makes it work. 3 seconds. Time is the biggest factor here. And we'll get it down. Yukiz, can he deny plant? It's the only way he's going to win this round. He has to swing in deny. He might be able to. There's no way. There's no fucking way. What? Everything is just working for Northeption, guys. I've never seen anything like it. It's not fair. It's actually at the point where I feel bad now for Crest. It's not fair. I'd be tilted. In chat, team chat, I'm tilted. All of that.
How do you even respond to that as Crest?
Attackers need to locate
You actually do a really good job there in forcing out positions, bringing back a man disadvantage, finally shutting down Nina. And then just someone else steps up. The flanking Warden, they must have had info on that hallway. Allowed to maneuver into that position. Putting down a smoke as well against the Warden. Probably not the best of ideas, although it didn't really matter in the end. But yes, this is pure dominance again on display from Northeption. If you're just tuning in, they lost the first round on Villa, then won 7 straight. So you 7 plus 5, 12 rounds in a row. At the moment, for Northeption, staring down the barrel of a perfect second map.
5 seconds left before insertion. Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
I mean, do you even have the mental capacity to deal with that round, Guz, and feel like, okay, we can still bring this back? You're down, you know, what is it, 12 rounds in a row. 12 rounds in a row. It's 12-1 now. 13 rounds played out in the semi-final to go to the major, and you've lost 12 in a row. I mean, I'm tilted for them. I'm legitimately defeated for Crest right now. As like a out-of-body experience, I feel like I am them and I'm feeling their embarrassment because Northeption is just getting everything. They're getting opening kills, they're getting late round clutches, they're winning the mid round, they're controlling the game. This is as dominant performance as I've seen in the Japan region. for quite some time against two, with a game where two teams I think are virtually on the same kind of level. Not today though. Oh, not today at all, but in the past, historically.
Yep. It has been quite the display from North Eption. And I think even the most composed and experienced teams and players would find this sort of a comeback near impossible because it's just not even remotely competitive at the moment. And North Ocean just have so much confidence flowing that they really have no regard for their own safety, playing increasingly aggressive positions with increasingly larger payoffs. Nina again over towards Stock, so not the Azami this time, reverts back to the Frost. And Sayachan does get the first. A response there from Choppy, and credit to Choppy. He's been doing a really good job in a tough match to try and keep these rounds alive, but it's Sharif just cutting him down a 3 versus 4.
Well, if we're handing out credit points, I want to give one to Sharif because his Vela was awful, but his bank has been amazing. This bank performance is what we know and expect from Sharif, right? And that's why on Villa, maybe I was a little bit critical, but when you've got a player at this caliber and he put in the performance he did in Villa, it wasn't good enough. It really wasn't, right? So I think that's fair. I think that's fair because you're that good, you're going to have those expectations, and we're seeing it here on Bank. So his response has been perfect. Absolutely perfect. And all is forgiven now for Villa. It doesn't matter, Sharif. You're amazing. You're a superstar. And guess what, guys? He's going to the major. Sharif's going to the major. Nina's going to the major. Sayachan, Favor, Ukis, they're all going to Copenhagen. This one's over. Crest have basically just checked their bags in. That's all they've done in this series. Carried their bags off to the airport and said, here, guys, go. Free ticket as well. We'll give it to you. Because they've just not stood in their way at all. This has been an absolute walkover. Embarrassing for Crest. North Eption, 1 round away from Copenhagen.
In what has probably been one of the most dominant best of threes I have ever seen, especially when you factor in that this, on paper, should have been quite close. I still think North Eption edged out in the map Vita, but I mean, edged out is one thing. Winning 7-1 and then probably 7-0 back to back. That is a whole different level of dominance. So North Eption on the attack as we switch sides, and for Crest, I mean, what do you even do at this point?
It's nothing you do.
You're not bringing this one back. However way you want to put it, whichever way you want to frame it, it's GG at this point. It is a matter of time that we announce North Eption going to the major.
Have you heard of the story of Crest Gaming's comeback? You haven't, because it's a myth. It has never happened and it will never happen. No. They are down 6 semi-final points, major points, I guess you could say. Like, it is just not going to happen. And I mean, realistically, lock a CCTV, if you defend it well, you probably can win this kind of site. Like, it can happen, whatever. And then, but you have to be inch perfect, fine line margins every single round here on out. Every single round. So realistically, you're just never going to be in a position where you're going to come back from here. All it takes is 1 round when Nina and Sharif just push in, get a double each, and then it's a 4-on-1. Ace Roller falls immediately, loses the fight over towards Electrical. I mean, this is an absolute stomp. Credit to North Eption, guys, though. They've earned this. Their run towards the back end of 2022, coinciding with a tough loss to Fnatic in the APAC SI closed quals for a team on the rise. They've risen. They've arrived. They've gone past the likes of Fnatic. They're going to be the first team from Japan booked in to go to the major, ahead of the likes of Scars, ahead of the likes of Cyclops. It's a really big feat that they've pulled off. It's a very difficult region. And right now, they're about to be the kings of that said region.
They've peaked at the perfect time. You don't need to peak in the group stage of this new format. It's all about how you go in that single early bracket. There is that second chance in the last calls, but if you can just time your run perfectly, which they have done, you get rewarded. Nina, all shut down. Not the worst of players in Whiskey, now a single shot away from death. We'll see how North Eption go about trying to tidy up this round. Probably the 1 round where they've looked to be under a little bit of pressure. There was that top 4 defense, but we'll discount that as we are now on the attack. Whiskey forfeits this position over towards Server. Who's pinged out? Favor! There we go. Okay, 3v3, minute 20. And an opportunity for North Eption to recover the round.
Crest got mentally, though, to withstand this final onslaught. To not lose this one 7-0. Bever to open up. Server in towards CCTV. Lure inside a cache. Thrown out from UKiz. Eclair watching, of course. Nitrocell from Lure, though. This is the biggest win condition now remaining for Crest. He's got the last Nitrocell. Although, I like to roam from Choppy over towards top square. Might look to get in behind them. Faber loses the initial entry. I think Northeption might be on the wrong side of this round. They will be. Lure with a Nitrocell kill onto Sayachan. And that trip to Copenhagen will just be delayed ever so slightly, with Crest finally stopping this onslaught from Northeption in its tracks. After 13 rounds in a row, Crest have won a round.
Finally. Finally. It took so long. Northeption's flight, it's just been delayed. It's one of those like really annoying ones where you sort of get to the airport and you get to like 30-minute delay. It's just an annoying one. It's not the end of the world. They're eventually going to get on that flight, but they're just going to wait a little while longer.
Locate and defuse bombs.
They did an okay job to recover from that deficit, but yeah, just feeling the pain at the end, especially with Clash as well. A good pick there from Crest. So we go actually over to open area for the second attempt here from Crest. Looking to just tick off this tertiary site as early as possible after base. But we're going to see the Glaz and the Sense strat come through. I don't know, we probably too frequently make anecdotal references to our ranked plays and whatnot, but for those who don't know, the Glaz Sense combo is actually really deadly. You do not have to be all that still on the Glaz to see through those ROU walls from the Sense. So it can be quite a deadly combo, and you could do something as wild as like stacking the back alley window like they might look to do, or just send it through E-box for example and try and plant behind kitchen with those walls out. And Glaz can really, really get to work. So it's important that Crest get careful here, especially because they do not have a Warden in play.
And the other thing as well for Crest, it's never over. You've got to just have that mindset. It's really difficult to put yourself into that mindset position though, but you've got to. Spot of the majors on the line, and we've seen teams before come back from 6-0. It's not like it's impossible. We've seen plenty of teams do it in the past, and then, you know, realistically, if you can be the team that does that here, and you send it to overtime, you send this to Chalet, you've now got yourself into the more favorable position, because Northeption would be tilted that they allowed it to get to that point. So you've just got to think about it as one round at a time. Opening up plot square now. That wall will be opened up.
Well, once you open up that castle barricade, you can almost immediately hit sight. Sharif, I'm sure, will be very, very aware and ready to roll out those ROUs. You can see them already in hand. Yukiz has his ability as well. And now, you pretty much can't contest this as the defense.
I don't feel like that's the best ROU though. I mean, in terms of being able to swing to the right side of it, but it is good enough probably to get a plant down. Although Nina on a lurk over towards front desk now, 90 seconds in. Are they going to be prepared for this? Because at the moment we've seen from Northeption is suggesting that it's a push from electrical. Plot square. No. Oh, that's an easy kill. Yeah, Ace Roller was not expecting a flank at all. And now all of a sudden, Crest has got to turn their attention over towards positions like Beepers, for example. Another ROU, that's much better. So that cuts off a little bit more to the right. That probably gives a good example. Because Bever couldn't quite walk his way in properly on the initial one. So had to wait potentially for the second one. Now pushes in. And you've got your flank in position as well with Nina. This was really well timed by Northeption. Didn't rush it on the first. Lure with the kill onto Nina. But they've got the plant down. Now, what can Northeption do, though, in denying the retake?
They did forfeit quite a bit of space, Northeption, so they need to win every single fight on the cross, and Yuki is positioned perfectly. Top blue is the position to be. He can deny plant, deny cross. This is Northeption going to the major.
Yukiz couldn't quite get the down onto Shoppy. Half health, he stays alive, 20 seconds. Still top blue stairs control is perfect to deny any potential retake from this position. Whiskey with a big kill. Got to go for more though. With that SMG-11, he's going to have to fight a couple more heads. 10 seconds left. That's it. It's over. Northeption's going to the major. What a dream run for Northeption. They closed out 2022 with a decent run. And the SI closed quals to start 23. They now find themselves heading to the majors. The first team from Japan. The first team and potentially the best team. They're off to Copenhagen.
What a performance from Northampton, from third in their group to then go 4-0 in the knockout bracket. Incredible performance, and they positioned themselves so damn well for that grand final. I would be shocked if they lost that, so they could have just